Welcome back to No Agenda, or No Agenda, but it's agendas today. Bare agendas to run. So many agendas to run. You know how we do on the show. Differences, we try to bring substance and logic to the arguments that we make here on No Agendas. Got Zoe with me, got Sunshine, got BK. Uncle Jimmy's going to be with us soon. How you guys doing? You guys ready to unpack this? We've got a lot to get to today, like a lot.
Oh, good, man.
Show was supposed to run on Monday, couldn't do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Smash the
Friday,
like button.
Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I know Brian knows what that means.
I know you got your
I don't know
there
what
ready.
else.
You know you got your deck there right next to you, ready to go. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the notification bell, share the stream. Shout out to everybody that send us DMs as well, requesting the show. I love that support. Love that. So big up to you people. First things first. I've been seeing so much madness on my timeline. So much crazy shit. People are 10 hug out already. 2 games. I'll go to you first on this, Elzo. Like, let's start with Talk Sport. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Adrian Durham. If you know Adrian Durham from Talk Sport, he's the original agenda setter. I saw this guy have Arsenal fans on a hook for like 5 years straight under Wenger, triggering them every single day. Why do you think the media are going in on Ten Hag like this, Elzo?
First main reason is because it's Man United. That's the biggest reason. It's Man United, big club. The more they talk about it, the more engagement it's going to get. Secondly, I'd like to think they would be talking about other managers like this as well. I'd like to think because I'm not saying they're saying to get rid of him, but they're just going off the first 2 games. And it's something to talk about. It is something to talk about. It's not like a non-subject. But they are overdoing it. And it is a bit much now. It is a bit much. But it's Man United. It comes with it, man. Big club, innit?
That part, again, I'm going to go to you next, Brian.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fans that are 10 hug out already after 2 football matches?
Yeah, man. Look, I can understand the frustration. You know what I mean? Like, Man United have not been very good in the first 2 games. I think some of those people also had a bit of hangover from frustrations they had with Ten Hag last season as well, despite the fact that people are still frustrated with him, but they also won't admit that those same people didn't expect Manchester United to even do anything last season, and yet Ten Hag and that team completely overachieved last season. But they won't give him his flowers for that. So, I mean, look, 2 games in is a bit ridiculous to judge anything, because at the end of the day, come the end of the season, I've said this plenty of times, that come the end of the season, if Manchester United accomplish their goals that they set out to accomplish, or they don't, people aren't going to blame the first 2 games of the Premier League season on why. So if we're not going to talk about the first 2 games at the end of the season, why are we trying to make predictions about how the season is going to go overall based on the first 2 games right now? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest.
Neji, I'll go to you last on this, and I'm going to bring up some comments as well.
In
fact, what's your thought when you see comments like this, Neji? Eric Ten Hag out fans equals ambitious fans with standards.
Well, first and foremost, it's not
this or not.
But first and foremost, it's not ambitious, because in order to have ambition, you've got to be able to at least foresee what you want moving forward. Again, standards, yes, you have standards, but those standards are on the floor. There's no one in my right mind that I can look at and go, "You're not serious." Like, I can't look at you and take you serious if you're talking Ten Hag out already. I would say you're emotional. I'd say you're reactionary. And I think you're just looking for an easier way out to express your feelings. And because everyone's talking about Ten Hag out, it's easy to do. But where I stand, Danny, is 2 things. From the rivals' perspective, and I talk about the media in the same bracket, because I think the media are pretty much rival fans as well, given what we know about them. For me personally, bro, I look at it as fear. They know what quality Ten Hag has. They were as surprised as Ten Hag last season as we were as Man United fans, given the shithole that he's had to come through. So they know what Ten Hag's capable of doing, even with less. And they're screaming in their back doors for for the Glazers to stay in. That's fact, because Ten Hag under new ownership, I don't think you see silly comments like that down there. I just don't think you see it. Those type of people go quiet. So from a rival's perspective, I think it's from fear. From a fan's perspective, again, it's a difficult one, because I don't take fans like that respectfully. Yes, they're in the fan base, but I don't take them respectfully, because if you had a bit of logic and context to situations, I'm pretty sure anyone with a reasonable mind wouldn't come out with such dross as I stray out there. And that's no disrespect to you, broski. It's just facts. Like, it don't make no sense to me. I don't see how, weighing up what Ten Hag went through last season, Daniel, I don't see how what he went through last season, the shithole he's taken over, the miracle that he pulled off last season, the shit start that we had last season, which wasn't as shit as this season. I just don't see how after 2 games, your first thought process says Eric Ten Hag out. For me, it's illogical.
Do you know what it is for me? One, I kind of knew there'd be some Ollie hangover. So if you notice, people at least that I follow and interact with that were Ollie in, what people will do is the issues they had with people that were Ollie out and the arguments that they were making, they will now use those arguments against Eric Ten Hag out of that frustration, which I think is just, it's not just wasted energy, you're directing the negative energy to the wrong person, to be honest with you. You shouldn't take that energy from the fans and direct it to the coach, because they were being, at some points, disingenuous to the previous manager, even though he deserved to go. There are arguments that you can make that are logical, and other ones that you will make when I've seen people contradict themselves. For example, on the injury thing, right? It didn't make sense, even though we lost Lukaku and Sanchez, why he'd risk Rashford's injury. Then I saw people on the flip side make excuses for him overplaying Eriksen, as an example, and then say nothing when he rushed back Eriksen from injury, and then Rashford injury, he rushed him back for the Betis game or whatever it was, when he tried to get through in the Europa League. So you saw people critical of Ollie for that thing, then didn't want to say the same thing about Ten Hag. And I've seen people observe that, take that energy and then try to crash it on Ten Hag because of that, which I think is wrong. Another thing as well that I've seen is, and this part I understand, they thought they were getting something different. They didn't quite know what they were getting. They thought he would validate certain views they had about certain football players. That hasn't happened. And that's another reason they're upset, which kind of makes sense to me. If you expected Luis Enrique or Mini Pep and somebody who wouldn't compromise from that at all and would play a certain way and implement it and everything will go per. And also, Naja, you speaking? Because if you are, I can't hear you.
No, my cat's doing the most.
Okay,
so
talking to your cat.
I'm muted.
But just on this, I'll wrap up on this, yeah? Like, listen, if you sack Ten Hag now, what will happen is when you hire a new coach, you have to say attitude at the first sign of trouble, you sack him, right? How do you build? Like, Man United fans need to get out of this idea of this linear progression. If you finish 4th, it must be 3rd the next season. Then it must be 2nd, then it must be 1st. It don't work like that. You're going to have turbulence. Especially when you consider we're competing with City. Teams like Chelsea have spent 900 million in 3 windows. We've spent 300 million and 350, 380 in 3 windows on like 7 or 8 players. I think Chelsea on their 21st player or something like that. It's crazy. Arteta's in his 4th season. We're running a different race. And I think Man United fans need to just, they need to temper certain expectations. It doesn't mean you don't criticize your coach. But to be Ten Hag out already is crazy to me. I do want to prop up Ten Hag. We're going to get into some tactical shit real quickly. There's been that, ever since Ten Hag announced he wanted Man United to be a transition team, people have been getting a bit upset about it. What does he mean? What is he saying? If you remember, I believe it was No Agenda, episode 17, we addressed a certain thing. Hold on, let me get this up in presentation mode. We addressed this, yeah? Whenever people hear transition, there's immediately a negative connotation. They think Conte, Jose Mourinho, low block settings. On that episode, we proved, yes, we were number 1 for goals from counter-attacks in the Premier League, but it weren't low block settings. Go back and watch episode 16, 17, forget which one it was, and we get into the examples of where we won the ball back and scored on the counter. But on this transition thing, Coach's Voice is a wonderful platform. It's an amazing platform. Don't take my word for anything, yeah? Go listen to what the professionals say about these terms and other coaching other coaching principles, yeah? Don't take my word for nothing. The reason why I've put this article here, what they highlight is that Jurgen Klopp's teams are very, very good at mid-block transition. So winning the ball in the middle third, they highlight Fabinho, go into Wijnaldum, like off the ball runs, etc., etc. And what I like about this, I've only included this really for this line when they look at Diego Simeone, and they make this point where they say, let me zoom in a little bit if I can. They make this point. Generally, Simeone's team win possession much further away from the goal than Liverpool. And it's an important distinction. Because when the coach's voice breaks down the different type of attacking transitions, or counter-attacks rather, you can see them here. So when Erik ten Hag says he wants Man United to be the best transition team, he's not talking about withdrawn low-block football. He just wants us to win the ball in the middle third, or more importantly, in the final third. He wants more advanced transitions. And you don't do this by playing low-block football and counter-attacking football. That's not how you do that. You do that by winning balls in the final third, by forcing losses from your opponent in the final third, like we did against Wolves, like we did against Tottenham. Don't worry about that agenda. I'm going to get to that later. And what frustrates me is this attack has actually let Ten Hag down quite a lot. Ten Hag's, his coaching, when it comes to sort of that first phase of pressing, it would have validation if these bloody players converted their bloody chances. But because they haven't, excuse me, I'm just looking at my screen here off mic. Like, you go back to that Tottenham game, which we're going to get into, yeah? Like, let me get into just one example. I'm not going to go crazy on this, innit? We're not going to turn this into a whole tactical session. But it's just these situations, yeah, that are like critical for us. They're just critical. It's in the first minute of the game. Yeah, the first minute of the game. You win the ball back. The manager's scheme is working. And by the way, Bruno and Rashford get it wrong. But we're actually set up relatively well. It's early in the game. They can't make adjustments yet. Win the ball back high up the pitch. You have to convert this into a chance. The amount of times I've seen us against Wolves in the first half and Tottenham in the first half do this, but then no end product at the end of it. Like, sometimes you don't even create an opening like this, if you want to call this a chance. It's not a big chance, but it's a chance. We don't do this enough. And you think back to this game, actually. Let me come out of this quickly. Even after conceding that goal, what did we do? We pressed. So when he says he wants to be the best transition team, do you see he's saying counter-attack football? He's talking front foot football. Win the ball in the final third. Be proactive. Defend on the front foot. This is what Ten Hag is referring to. And he's showing his coaching here. The players are letting him down. You see us, we win the ball high, mount to Bruno, goes to Anthony. You can say he's unlucky, but I've seen this too many times now to say Anthony's unlucky, to be honest with you. He needs to start converting these chances. And this is one of the reasons why the media and fans can go in on Ten Hag. Like, if you converted these opportunities into goals, you'd see people waxing lyrical about his pressing scheme. What I've seen on my timeline, at least, is people pointing out all the negatives with the way that we press, even though actually there's been more positive with the first phase of pressing. We've actually won the ball back enough times to score goals. And unfortunately, if the players unless this attack levels up, yeah, he's not going to get props for his coaching. Just want to get your guys' thoughts on that, and we'll move on to the next topic.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest. Like, that's the thing at the moment. And you've made some great points in terms of Ten Hag's system. I hear a lot of people agendas. I don't see no style of play. I don't see what's going on. It's quite clear what's been going on. It's quite evident. What you don't see is end product from what's going on. So therefore, you categorize it as, I don't see what he's doing. And if you are one of those people, then more time I start to question if you actually know ball to an elite level. And that's also okay. Not everyone has the same ball knowledge, but at the same time, then don't comment on things you're unsure about. Do some education, do some research, understand your manager. That's something I've always said. Understand your manager first, because if you're going to break down certain things within a team and you're going to break down certain things that you're seeing on the pitch, then you need to have some level of understanding of what the manager's trying to do, so then you can then at least judge him based on what he's trying to do rather than what you want him to do. I see a lot of people saying about ball retention in midfield. I just want to play. I want Bruno, I want Mount to hold the ball and pass it. This is not Pep Guardiola's football. So that comment, that reality that you want, is not applicable to most Ten Hag systems.
Do you know what I'd say, JG? This is what I'd say on that, yeah. If he had different players, right, who could actually fulfill what people want, then you'd see that football.
Yeah,
But
100%.
But whilst that's absent, where my focus goes to is, for me, I don't care. I'd expect Morgan Gibbs White and the boys at Forrest to do better in those advanced transitions. Like, do you see what I'm saying to you? It's different expectations. Bruno or Mount, are they going to start playing like guys who retain the ball, come deep and do these things? No, they're not going to do that. But I do expect them, and I think it's within, like, it's reasonable to expect them to convert these situations into chances, because Ten Hag's
100%.
coaching his ass off. He's like, you've got Rashford, who's a liability when it comes to pressing, and you're still forcing these transitions. You're still turning over the ball in the final third. That's good coaching, and it's not being rewarded because the players are lacking quality. I want to go to Zoe quickly, just on, because I want to get into some topics in the Tottenham game. You think Ten Hag made a mistake starting Garnacho again?
Yeah, but I understand it though, because I've seen him do that last season as well. I think he done that a couple times after a bad result. He would pick the same team and let them, and it usually worked. But it seems like it didn't work this time. But I feel like he needed to cool off for a bit after that first game, because that first game was so bad. And I don't think he was that bad in the Spurs game, but I know that first one would have had a knock on his confidence, 100%. And even at the Spurs game, I'm not sure if you lot see it, when he come off, when the camera went to him, he looked like he wanted to cry. He looked.
I missed that. I didn't see that.
You see that? Oh yeah, the camera's panned on him.
That was Mount. I'm sure that was Mount.
No, it was all of them. I think they done a Mount one and a Rashford
So it was
one.
all of them.
And Garnacho looked down, man. He looked pissed, man. He looked pissed. But I wouldn't have played him. Because I would have let him cool off, train, get back in the team. Keep him hungry, innit? Keep him hungry.
Another question on the Tottenham. I'm going to go to you, Brian. Did you see any positives to take from that match, or was that match just a complete write-off for you?
Yeah, I think there's some positives. I feel like it's generally understood that the first, sorry about that. That the first, yeah, I know, good old Apple stuff, bro. It's generally understood that the first 30 or so minutes, Manchester United were actually on top of the game. So, I think United did well for what was expected of them. I think they actually dominated the game territorially against Spurs. So, I thought the midfield shape was better. United weren't getting run through the way they got run through against Wolves. That's a positive. So, the thing now for the team is to stretch that over the course of 90 minutes and get a result, instead of playing well for 20 to 30 minutes and then not getting a result, right? Or playing well for 10 minutes and scoring a goal when you should have been down for already, like they were against Wolves, right? So it's things like that. They have to be more consistent in their performances. But these are also some of the same things that we've been saying about Manchester United for years now. So the more things change, unfortunately, the more things stay the same.
Let me just get Jimmy involved. All right. Yo, go landscape, man. You're ruining up the lineups looking meaty like that, man. You need to go landscape.
Don't kill me. Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. Give me 1 second. Let me
I was trying to. I can't get on my laptop with it for some reason. It's not letting me use my laptop for whatever reason. The link won't open.
All right, that's a lot better. We're just talking about the Tottenham game. I was asking Brian if he saw any positives from that game. I know you're fresh in, but did you take any positives from that match? Was that match a complete write-off for you?
No, I have to agree with Brian. I think it was a weird game because I think performance-wise, actually, I think we performed better than we did in the Wolves game that we won. So when I look at the midfield, for me, was slightly more cohesive in parts of the game. Obviously, it wasn't great, but it was much better. Just we didn't finish those chances. And I think when you're playing against a team that seemed like they were coming out to play on the day, because I wasn't expecting them to come out the way they did. They came out to play. It felt like we just missed a chance to win a game that that was very winnable. They were giving us respect actually at times in the game. I mean, if you look at, especially on the left hand side, there was times where they were showing us quite a bit of respect there, and we didn't take the chances that we had, and it was quite disappointing, to be honest. Really disappointing. But yeah, I think it was a better performance. Hopefully, we take our chances going forward, because we can't be having. The league is looking like you need to take every chance to get any kind of momentum. So we're gonna have to start taking these chances, because otherwise we're gonna keep dropping off. So yeah, I think the midfield was better than it was in the Wolves game. So that's a positive in itself. Individuals, I don't know. I don't think I can really comment on individual performances that I thought were outstanding or anything like that. I'm still disappointed in just and you know, I'm BDL for life, you know, Defence League for life. But there was moments in the game where I was a little bit disappointed, just in because everyone is disappointed in the fact that he was giving the ball away when he's attempting these passes. But for me, it was more positioning. He just seems a little bit off at the moment. He doesn't seem to be in the right places yet, and hopefully, you know, it's beginning of the season and he's going to get better. But Bruno was a little bit off just positionally. I wasn't that impressed.
More than off position. As soon as he went right wing, the first thing I see him do was do this long pass that just was never going to make it, and I'm just
never going to make. Yeah,
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Neji, just on that second half capitulation, what caused that in your opinion?
I always say, similar to my event in sport, something I took into football. In athletics and discus throwing, like we always say, set it up first, then you can finish strong. And you have to set the positions up. And the first half was a chance to set yourself up for the second half. And I think mentally, given the fact that we were so poor against Wolves, so that's such a poor result, and then we managed to scrape a win, we needed the performance, especially Manchester United. You need the performance and the result. And we had the performance in the first half, which allowed us to go and get that result. And I think the more chances we miss, the more pressure it adds. And I don't believe that off the back of a shaky start already, that these players are able to handle the mentality of it. And as Spurs grew into the game, that's where we started to make more mistakes. We started to be out of position more. The players weren't really cohesive. How can I say? They weren't really cohesive as it was in the first half. So for me personally, I think that's where we lost it. The first half, not making our chances. And I'm a big fan of the psyche of sport and how athletes perform under pressure and emotions and stuff. And it's a very, very real thing, man. We didn't set it up. We added pressure to ourselves because we weren't clinical up front, Danny. And like I said, and I always bang on about it, you can all vouch for this. I said we shouldn't have prioritized the goalkeeper first in this team to move forward. I think the signings that we've made, yes, were necessary and needed, but I think we've taken too big of a leap in personnel and profile, which has then had a knock-on effect throughout the team. We're still creating chances. We're still able to defend, even with mistakes from De Gea. But what can't we do? Put the ball in the back of the net. Get me 2 clinical strikers, or at least 2 clinical forwards that can put the ball in the net, and then you start to build from there for me. And now we're seeing that we can't finish chances still even now. So what is the point in creating more chances higher up the pitch if we're not going to be clinical moving forward? It never made sense to me. And like I said, the fan base was so emotional, thinking that De Gea was the problem rather than a problem. And that's the thing, when you stop putting all your eggs in one basket, this is what you get, people. Do you know what I mean? And now we're looking at trying to get another goalkeeper, second goalkeeper, which is a waste of money. Not a waste because we need it, but it's money that we don't really want to be spending there. And of course, now we don't have another striker. Now our new striker, who's going to be our main one, should be our second striker, who's now gone and got injured. So it's all over the shop. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean I didn't want no signings in the first place, Danny. But if you have clinical forwards and you have people who are clinical enough to go and finish, then you take pressure away from everyone. And that for me is where I rest it, man. It's not having clinical forwards, and it's going to show this season, man.
What was a striker second?
Sorry, Jimmy, hold on. That point you made about we shouldn't have prioritized the goalkeeper. We should have got attackers. I'm glad you said that. Because shout out to Zoe Radio. If you're not following Elzo on Twitter, that's his handle there. Certain mornings, Zoe Radio, Starbucks coffee, or mon croissants. If you know, you know. We're having an ongoing conversation about what structure is best for recruitment, right? And a lot of people, what I've noticed is they go after Murta, they don't actually talk about the structure. They just go after him and then look at the outcomes. This is wrong, that is wrong. I prefer to focus on the inner workings of the football club and see how that's solving or causing problems, if that makes sense. So what I want to do actually, I did put out a Twitter poll, might get it up, where I asked people, is 50-50 better? Is it manager-led that's better? Or should it be the club outright? But before we get to that, I've got an agenda I want to run. When I hear people say, I hear people say a recruitment process is too manager-led. And by the way, people were calling for that before Ten Hag came. So this is a shoe fits point. Like, if you were calling for a manager-led recruitment process, I can't hear you complaining now. If you weren't calling for it, fine. But for those that were calling for it, and now you've got cold feet, you need to have a bit more chest than what you were asking for. So this is the agenda I want to run. I've got a question for you, man. Ten Hag's first window, Ten Hag's second window. I'm just going to go through this quickly. At the start of his first window, not by the end, at the start, he could have got a left back or a right back. It was his choice which one he went for, and it would have impacted other decisions. He chose left back. Gusto was the option for right back and available, right? Centre back, we all know what happened. You see who the recruitment team recommended. Timber said no. Players say no, get over it. We got Martinez. Midfield, eliminated Declan Rice as an option, pursued De Jong, pursued Rabiot, ended up with Casemiro. I don't feel sorry for him because of that process, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not going to lie. Forwards that were put forward to him to sign, Nunez, I think we dodged the bullet, let's keep real. Goncalo Ramos, he was on the radar for us from last season. And he chose between Anthony and Diaby. He had a choice. Goalkeeper, he's got his goalkeeper. The Maguire thing, that's not on him, right? But look at the options that have been put forward to him for him to pick from. Same thing with the midfield. Look at the options that have been put forward to him to pick from. Look at the attackers. Again, these are the options that have been put forward to him to pick from. And you need to remember, Man United have a veto system. Recruitment, Chief Scouts, Analytics Department, John Murta, Eric Ten Hag. So they all have to agree on the player. So considering all these players are being filtered to the top, and it appears that they're giving the manager the final decision, but they're giving him choices.
Yeah.
What is wrong with this process? What's actually wrong with the way they operate? I'm not talking about the outcome. I'm just talking about internally giving the manager these options to pick from position to position. Where's this incompetence from Murta in operating this way with Eric Ten Hag? And anybody in the comments, and I'll go to you first, Elzo, do you see a problem with this, with the way we're operating? Not the outcome. We'll get to the outcome later, just the way we're operating.
So what are you saying?
As an example, if Maguire left...
They do a vote, and then everyone has to agree to it.
Yeah, but as an example, let's say Maguire did leave. Is it wrong that the club say, or Murta says, you've got a choice between Pavard, Todibo, Tapsoba, Diassi, who went to Chelsea, or Gay? What's wrong with that process? Is that what you would call management, like manager-led as well? Like, how would you categorize that?
No, that's quite good actually. That's quite good. So it's not like they're bringing in one or two. That's quite good. So then you've got different players to pick from, see what he thinks will suit him best, and then pick. Yeah, that seems quite fair. But as long as he has the final say, though, that's
I'll go to you next on that, Brian.
Yeah, man. I don't think there's any issues. It's not like the manager is being told who he has to sign. Right? The manager gets final say on who he wants. And that, realistically, I feel like that's what you would want. I mean, the manager makes the choices. And if the choices are wrong, that's on the manager because he had different options available to him, right? If it works out good, like that's great. But if it doesn't work out, then that's on the manager. So, I mean, the fact that he has options, and options are huge. It's not like, just like Elzo says, it's not like he's just being presented one or two players. He's being presented options, different types of players. So, I mean, I don't see any issue with this at all.
Neji, go to you next.
Yeah, it's the same boat, man. There's no issues in terms of selection process, shall we say, in my opinion. Some of the players, yes, similar profiles, very much different profiles when it comes to forwards and it comes to some of the midfielders, etc. But in terms of being able to structure players and give a manager a decent amount of selection, which is what you want, by the way, because the manager, it's not like football manager, you know what I mean? You got to go around doing everything. You got to go, there's certain people in places to go and do certain researches for you. You have your philosophy, your way you want to play. And for a first season, of course, under Ten Hag, there's no way that the board that are around him can at least go, oh, this is how Ten Hag wants to play. Let me get X, Y, Z. Like, they're still going to present old targets such as Haaland as well, which is well documented, to a manager and say, well, we've been scouting this guy. Do you still want him? Would he work in your system? So for me personally, based on your specific question, there's no issue in selection process for me personally that I can see.
So I'll go. Do you see an issue with this, Jimmy? I just need a yes or no from you, Jimmy. Then I'll expand the question.
No, I don't see an issue with it. I don't see an issue with the process itself.
So
no.
My question would be this then: why do I keep seeing on my timeline that this is an issue? That presenting the manager with these choices so he can prioritize what he thinks is best for the team he's going to coach and the way he wants to play. Because I keep hearing if we had Ragnick or proper DOF, the process would be better than this.
You see, Danny, you know what it is. I think sometimes it's just the way people express things. That people don't express. Sometimes people don't realize what they're trying to say. So the way that they say,
no, I get what they're trying to say. What they're saying, Jimmy, is a DOF with a good CV would guarantee the outcome that I desire. That's actually what they're saying.
That's what they're.
So
that's
if
what
you had a competent DOF, the names that I like in this list would have been chosen. And I'm like, how do you know for a fact the DOF that you like would pick the midfielder that you think we should get? Like, how can you guarantee that outcome based on a directors of football's previous CV at a previous football club?
No, but people expect it to work, isn't it? That's the at the base of it. The family, it doesn't matter, because I know we complain about the structure at Manchester United, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the way that they're working with the manager at all. I think the problem has been that the players, some of the players that have come in have fallen short. Now people will want to find something to blame for that. So if the players are falling short, people are trying to work out, is it because the manager has picked the wrong players? But people are not having that kind of conversation. People are now still trying to say Manchester United are doing the wrong things in the background. Well, look, I mean, on paper, this is exactly what you would want for your manager. That's what you want. You want him to have the options on the table so he can make his selections. And that's exactly what he's got. So it's just, sometimes people just have the wrong conversations. People don't know how to
what I've seen people say, Jimmy, is that it's manager-led. So he's identified every single one of these players by himself. Which is just obviously just a lie. So by saying it's management-led and the process...
I ain't gonna lie though, yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Seeing all these names here on this screen and seeing what we left the shop with, it's crazy, man.
It is crazy.
But Elsa, you're saying that though.
Do you know what I'd say though? Yeah?
You never know if it would have worked the other way around. You just never know, do you? This is a problem with football, isn't it?
This is what I would say.
Crazy.
But look, this is what I would say, yeah. One thing I don't think you can accuse Murta and Ten Hag of is not attempting to address the right positions. They may have got the profile of player wrong or the player wrong in general.
Yeah.
Right? But they've only had 3 windows. You haven't seen Man United in 9 years go into multiple windows addressing the right positions. Common sense says if you let them land, they may get a few more right. They might just, because I think Onana's right. I think Martinez is right. I think Højlund's going to end up being right.
Yeah.
Who knows what else they might get right if you actually let them land, rather than just, right, sack this guy now, Ten Hag out, gone, let's start again. Guess what? A new director of football, he may not make his best signings in his first 2 windows. He may not make... In fact, you know what? This is a great opportunity, yeah, for me to bring this up, and I'll end it on this. I'll end it on this, yeah. I'm literally going to go on... I just want to show people this, yeah? Because this is the work of a world-class, yeah, Man City transfers. Let me put this in quickly. Yeah, like, yeah, this is the work of a world-class technical director. I'm going to show you guys right now. Yeah, let me share the screen. A world-class technical director.
Who?
Tiki.
Oh yeah.
Tiki. And I love this comment. Let me post this comment up before I share the screen. Merton needs to stick to banking. And this is what I'm talking about. He's never been a banker. And this is what I find funny. No, I always laugh at these comments, and it's certain people that have spread this, right? He started his career as head of academy coaching, academy development. Then he's moved on, worked in as an analyst, worked at the Premier League in the Elite Player Performance Program, went to Everton. By the way, all the people that act as if his association with Everton was negative because of Moyes' failed hair, have you seen what's happened to Everton since David Moyes and all his people have left? Since they got a new owner, a technical director.
They can't get it right. They've tried so many times. They just can't get it right.
Players from Real Madrid, from Barcelona.
Yeah, they can't. It's not working. Yeah,
they might get relegated this season. And that would be like.
Oh yeah, I've said that. I've said that.
As someone who grew up on the Premier League, seeing Everton. Bear in mind, I hate Liverpool in it. So like, seeing Everton, the fact that they might not do well is actually a little bit sad, because in the Premier League history, they've been one of the best operators. Not a sexy football club. They don't sign the sexy players. But within their budget and what they did under Moyes, they just got the players that were right for Moyes. They were good operators. But Man United fans will tell you anybody from Everton is rubbish. By the way, go and look at who's Brighton's new technical director. Yeah, he's ex-Everton, by the way, for those who don't know. But this is all I would say, right? You can't guarantee an outcome. I'll do this very, very quickly, then we'll move on to some other topics I want to discuss. Lineups for the next game. 2012, 2013. Right, so this is that's not his first transfer window. My bad. That's not. I think Tiki's first transfer window at City is the next one. I think he came in this summer and then he went. So that's his first transfer window. Pretty decent. Yeah, that's a pretty decent first transfer window. Fernandinho, excellent. Jovetic, good prospect, didn't work out. Negredo, decent squad player in the end. Navas, a good squad player in the end. Di Michaelis was past it. Cool. Right? This is one of the best technical directors in the world. You see his first window.
That's the dead window, man.
No, you got Fernandinho, though.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm looking at. That name.
This is his second window that I'm going to show you guys. My bad, I don't have ad blocker on this browser. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. Let me zoom in.
It was quite funny as well, Danny. Yeah,
that smells.
The amount of flipping signings that Pep made, and you never even saw them in their first season.
No, this is before Pep. This is before.
Oh, really?
This is before Pep, because Pep came.
Oh, man, okay, go on.
16 or 16, 17.
That's a bad window, man.
This is his first two win. This is one of the best technical directors in the world. Did a brilliant job at Barcelona, although even there, every technical director makes mistakes. It's just anyway.
Mangala.
Look at his first two windows at City. If he didn't inherit Company, David Silva, Yaya Toure, and Aguero, he would have been in trouble.
So not one of them players done well, you know.
No, Fernandinho hit. That's a hit.
No, and I'm talking about this.
This window's a write-off. This window. Listen, imagine if John Murta brought in Mangala, Boney, and Fernando in his second window. It'd be a wrap. What happened afterwards is great. The point I'm trying to make here, this is why you don't just halt the process and throw the baby out with the bathwater. Technical directors, even the best of them, make mistakes. Yeah? When I look at Murta's intentions with Ten Hag and the way that they're operating, trying to address the right positions, I'm just saying let them land. That's it. I've never told anybody Murta's a world-class technical director. You've never heard me say that. Have you never heard me say he's going to deliver league titles? What I do see in the way that he's operating, in the way that he's operating, I do see competence. For me, telling the manager you can pick between Pavard, Todibo, Tapsoba, letting him pick between those three, I don't think that's incompetence. I think that's working with your manager. That's just how I see that. Because if he forces Todibo and Todibo don't hit, that relationship now has an issue. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But look, I digress. Let me know what you're saying in the comments. We're going to get onto other topics. We have to discuss Mason Mount's injury and how Ten Hag solves that issue going into the next game. The transfer window is the transfer window. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we get Amrabat, maybe we don't. I'm sick of the I'll just wait to see what happens. I think something will happen. It will be Amrabat or another player, but they're not going to be available for Forrest. They're not going to be available for Forrest. So, you know what? Let's get to that game and let's get to that lineup, actually, because I'm going straight to the midfield. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I'm not, no hesitation. Like, we're going straight to the midfield. Like, I need you, man, to let me know. Like,
you know where it's going to be, man. Stop it, Danny, man.
No. I need to know what midfield are you, man, picking for that Forest game. What are we doing?
What are we doing? But we know what it's going to be.
I don't care about the back.
It's going to be McTominay, man.
I don't even care about the back line.
Nah, Eriksen's
like it or not, it's going to be McTominay, man.
You think? What do you think?
Like it or not, it's going to be him.
He didn't even come off the bench. I know he did, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came on 60+ minutes.
Came on.
It'll be McTominay, man. I'll tell you now, because he'll have that physicality with him there. Because that's obviously
why wouldn't he go with his first team from last season, though?
Yeah, of course. You're Casemiro, Bruno, McTominay, man. I'll call it right now.
I reckon.
Sorry, unless he gets sold quick time.
Say it again. What's your midfield again? Sorry.
What, me?
Yeah. Well, what was yours?
Yeah, it's not my midfield. It's what I think the manager's going to go.
Oh, what you think he'll play?
Obviously. Yeah, it's Casemiro, basically McTominay for Mount. I can just see that happening.
Anyone else see this happening?
Nope. I see it the same. I see Eriksen for McTominay.
Yeah, I see Eriksen as well, I think.
Eriksen, yeah.
That's his first team from last season, isn't it? That's his boys, man.
But what would you go with, Zoe?
I would do what Neji thinks it's going to be. I'd play McTominay instead of Eriksen.
Does anybody actually want to see Eriksen start against Forest?
No, but I think we're going to see it.
I do personally.
I just think we'll get overrun again, and I don't know.
You know what? I tell you now, actually, you know what?
I do. I feel like we get overrun again.
I just got a flashback. Morgan Gibbs-White was picking Casemiro off the last time we played them.
Of course.
Remember that, innit? You remember that?
Yeah, because you wouldn't stop DMing me about it, Elzo. So yeah, I remember. So yeah, you put Eriksen in there, and Gibbs-White, he was buzzing around Casemiro, robbing him off the football. In the cup game, not so much in the league away from home towards the end of the season, but in that cup game, yeah, Gibbs-White, he was giving Casemiro a lot of problems.
Where can play, man. I'm telling you.
A lot of problems. And look, I know we're at Old Trafford. We'll probably have another decent half an hour. But if the game goes how we know it can go in the second half, it'd be good to have McTominay already in place to deal with that, innit? I'll be honest with you.
I'll be real. We'll probably need McTominay to score the goals. Shout out to Indiana, who said McTominay is the best finisher at the club. So
McTominay's a better finisher than some of our attackers.
He's good. He's all right. He's all right finishing, man. He's good. He's all right.
Like the way my man can strike a ball, we've seen the types of goals that he scored for us as well.
And he does those ground shots. Those ground
ones. Technically,
look how the Glazers Look how the Glazers got us, man. We have to be.
Yeah, he's serious.
McTominay was supposed to be gone. How has he gone from going to West Ham to starting against Forrest? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us?
Priorities are wrong, bro.
Why can't we do two things right? Why can't we sell a player and bring in a new one?
So I would like to see him start and Eriksen come on about 60th minute.
So you're saying Casemiro, McTominay, and Bruno?
Yeah.
I mean, that midfield does have legs. So,
like I said, see the back five, yeah, I could care less. Like, yeah, that's why it's cropped out. I don't care about the back five. The way the second half games have been going, like, lightning don't strike twice in the same place. Actually, it does. It can strike 3 times in the same place. Actually, I've seen it. Sometimes I watch those videos on YouTube. I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen it happen. Yeah? So, McTominay, see, this is the difference. If he was willing to bring in McTominay after 50 minutes and I could trust him to do that, I wouldn't mind Eriksen starting. I just know the last 2 games, he's let things get worse and worse and worse before making a change. And the change was Eriksen. So with Mount being out, I think it makes sense having McTominay in there, innit? Which is an indictment on the Man United team. But I always say to people, is John Murtough the reason we have to sell players to get Amrabat for under 30 million? If you think that's a Murtough problem, yeah, like I guess, yeah, you're glaze it in. That's how I would put it. I'm not gonna lie. Like 25 mil. We can't raise 25 million to get Amrabat. We need to sell 2 players. Where's that coming from?
Do you know what? That's weird to me, man. That's been
I don't
very
buy this. Man, the way Man
So
United
strange.
fans have quickly acclimatized to this buy to sell model, you man are just way too easily manipulated by those.
It's
Glazers,
weird.
man.
It's weird behavior. It's weird behavior.
In terms of the front line, I have a little bit of a rule. If a player's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to start. So, given that he's fit enough to be on the bench, I think Haaland should get his debut. At Old Trafford, at home, mid-table team or leave bottom 10 team even.
You just say Haaland.
Hoyland.
Okay, safe.
I do say Haaland sometimes, though. The names are too
sorry.
similar.
Okay.
They're
Cool.
so similar, yeah.
Listen, I'm starting. Look, I see Zoe shaking his head. You wouldn't start him. You're doubting the boy.
No,
Why
I'm
not?
not doubting him. I'm not doubting him, but I'll obviously give him half hour to start with if he's coming back from an injury.
What if you see us pressing high and well in the first half an hour, and you need the ball to fall to him to finish the score? Or do you want to trust the previous lineup to start the game again?
Martial.
You're starting
the other
Martial.
day. Yeah, I said it the other day.
Lord.
I'd sacrifice him. I'd sacrifice him. If he gets injured, it's fine because this guy's getting ready to be fit.
He's right
I'd
still.
sacrifice that guy so quick.
He's right still.
We're-
That's the thing. You've got one
Sacrifice.
injury.
If he gets injured, that's his business. We got a striker coming in next week, so
You've
be
got
injured.
Højlund, yeah. If you look at Højlund, my man's meant to be there for the whole season. Right? Martial, we know, was injured 24/7. So you basically got one coming back from an injury, another one coming back from a year injury. Start Martial. If it doesn't work out, play Højlund. Do you know what I mean? Gets his minutes safe. We're not going to cry over Martial being injured.
We're not going to cry no more. We're not crying no more.
You know
But
what?
also, Nagy, that way Martial can't cry that he's not getting the game time, and
Straight.
Højlund can't cry that he's not getting the game time. So it's a win-win.
More.
Now,
Jimmy.
but at the same time,
When he gets injured, though, yeah. When he gets injured, we're just going to pretend to be sad. Oh, man. These times we know we got a striker playing next week.
Yeah,
it's
now,
true.
at the same time, though,
Sacrifice
we're
And it's not Vego or Steven.
if
That's
we're
what I'm
if we're
saying.
crying,
Come on, man.
if we're crying about Rashford not leading the press, wait till we watch Martial try to lead the press against Forrest.
Nah,
That guy's
I'm
gonna
off
run
the preseason.
that guy's gonna run
Preseason
That is a
Martial.
joke.
That guy's gonna
That
run
is a
10
joke.
yards.
Preseason Martial was serious. He was different gravy,
He's
man.
gonna run 10 yards and do his hamstring. I'm telling you, bro. Wait to watch
Yeah, but
Martial.
that's nothing to do with the press, though, Brian. That's just everything to do with his ability, like body-wise, physicality. You know what I mean?
Well, why are we starting?
If we get 10 minutes of good pressing, and you're telling me, Ten Hag's model is going to bring us an extra 8 chances in 10 minutes, Martial's bagging one of them, then say if he's injured, we're 1-0 up. Cool. Do you know what I mean? Højlund comes on. No
Martial's
stress.
gonna take his.
I'm with Owls, man. Owls has got this bang on.
Martial's
Hang on,
gonna
innit?
take his first shot and
If
do
he
his
gets
hamstring.
injured, if he gets injured, all we do is shrug our shoulders. We got a striker.
How many times have we gone, oh, he's injured again? Yeah, safe. How many times have we done that?
Sacrifice
One
him
more
for
time
this
doing it.
game.
It don't matter, bro.
Sacrifice him.
It don't matter, man.
Give him 60 minutes. If he gets injured from before that,
Yeah, he gets
shrug our
his
shoulders,
little.
move on.
He
Move on.
gets his little appearance bonus, so he can order food
Is there
at home
any-
next week. It's all good.
Is there any chance that Højlund's got a chance to start? Is that a real possibility, or is
I was just saying. I mean, if you're on the bench, you can probably start and get an hour. But listen, you might want Martial. Fine. Here's the bigger one now.
I know.
Like, okay, what does Jadon Sancho have to do to start?
He's not starting.
Right on Jadon Sancho. Can I take this one off? Can I start this one?
Go ahead.
I was watching. I can't. I think it might have been KG. Or see, KG was talking to someone that was making a comment about. He was making a comparison about Sancho and Anthony. He was saying, Anthony's got
Ferdinand.
Anthony.
Anton Ferdinand.
It's Antoine Ferdinand. It was Ferdinand, yeah. But that point, I think it's a fair point to say. I mean, Anthony's had his chance, hasn't he, to impress? And I know he's impressed sometimes, and he hasn't sometimes. But I don't feel like Sancho's had a fair shot. Now, I know there's various reasons for that, both tactically and obviously the fact that obviously he was away for personal reasons last season. But I just feel like just give him 5-6 games on the trot and just see if he can get into that rhythm, see if he can improve his game, see if he can improve some of the midfielders in the team. And I know people don't all agree with this, but I feel like Sancho needs to get a fair shot at starting. I think he needs to get a string of games where he tries to play and he tries to impress and he tries to integrate into that.
You don't rate him.
No, look, but he's at the club. You might as well try it. It's not like Anthony's pulling. He's not pulling roots out, is he? Let's face it. I mean, he's doing all right, but he's not out here pulling trees out. So let's give Sancho a shot. He's at the club. He's a player at the club. So give him a chance.
Hold on a second. Yo, hold up. I need to do a shout out. Shout out to the old school football terrace Man United show crew, Fluid Front Free Prop. If you know, you know. Yeah? We used to pray for a Fluid Front Free. Like I don't think people realize, because people think, oh man, I'm not from Spaces, man. I started on YouTube with it. Like, we ran a Sancho campaign for like 2 years. Get Sancho in, mixed in with number 11. Whatever happened with him. You got 4 plays for a Fluid Front Free. The fact that having this conversation with you guys is the only time I've envisioned this front line. When I tell you my brain has been in what Ten Hag wants, that's all I've done for the last year. What does Ten Hag want? What does Ten Hag want? That's all I've thought about for the last year. What does he want? Oh, the manager wants to start Garnacho. Cool, I back you. Yeah, go do this. I back that. I back it. Now I'm looking at this on paper at home against Forrest. Run it. Just run it. What's the issue there?
You run the thing, man. Run the thing. Try it.
Run it. Run it back. Because this brings me to another topic. Let's keep it real. Our attack was better under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer than it was under Erik ten Hag. And the reasons why, we just had better attackers. It's really that simple. We had better attackers. Martial was fit, at least for a season. When he wasn't, we had Cavani. And low-key, we were better when we had Ronaldo in attack. I'm not going to lie. I'll be honest. Got to run it back. We're not getting no end product from Garnacho and Anthony at the moment. We're not getting any. Rashford, people can hate on him, low IQ, running into cul-de-sacs. He's going to shut you up like he always does and bag his goals. It's going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen.
When Martial came off the bench, you saw the ball security. And Jadon Sancho, like Jimmy was saying, when's he going to get an opportunity to fail? Don't get me wrong. I know he had his game before he missed 3 months last season. But when's he going to get another opportunity to start in one position 5, 6, 7 games in a row the way other players do? I'll throw that at you, Brian, as well before we move on. Just on the Sancho topic, like, what does he have to do to get a chance?
I mean, I really feel like it's just going to have to be pressure from Ten Hag to make a different decision. Like, at some point, you have to make a decision that's going to produce some sort of a different result for the team, right? And right now, it showed. I mean, we literally sat here on No Agendas last week, and you asked me, Danny, is Garnacho going to start next game? And I said I wouldn't start him, but I think the manager will start him, and I was right.
I think he will, yeah.
And I was like, I don't think he should start, but I think the manager will start him again. Turns out he started the whole team. That was bad. So I think Sancho's going to force his way into this team. If Anthony keeps misfiring, keeps overhitting passes, like, Sancho's going to force his way, and he's going to force Ten Hag to make a decision. But you don't want it to be so far gone that it's at a detriment to the club and to, like, the aspirations of the team as a whole. So, I mean, against Forrest at home, you tried the same lineup twice. You got 2 poor performances and 1 win. You got to do something different.
He won't. He will not. That ain't happening.
So
I don't see it.
I think what he's got to do to get a chance, Anthony has to get injured.
No, you laughed though. That's
Alright,
I mean that's the
alright.
only way I can see it.
All right, so let me tell you what happens. Yeah, let me show you. I'm going to show you. Watch this. Watch this. Can I do it? Watch this. Anthony gets injured. You know what happens? This is what happens.
Bruno, right? Wing.
That's what happens. Yeah?
Yeah.
There's one thing I will crash on Eric Ten Hag. He doesn't really want competition for Anthony on that right wing. Like, let's just keep.
He
it real.
doesn't. I don't think he does.
He doesn't
either.
really want
I don't think he
competition.
does.
Yeah, he pushed the club to his ego. His ego. That's really what it is. Like, come on. Also,
I really
what
think,
happens?
really
Another
think
question.
Sancho
Sorry,
could
guys.
do good with, sorry, I really think Sancho could do good with Højlund, man. I really do, man. Because he makes.
I think they would link well.
Get Hugo Sanchez in there, bro. Get my man in.
I think they would link all right. You know, I think they would.
Oof, imagine that Hugo Sanchez, mad.
See, this is the thing. He's not benching Rashford. That's the problem. Like, he's not going to bench Rashford. So you won't even get to see this variation because you're not going to bench Rashford. It's not going to happen.
No, man,
But some people would argue.
needs to show up late. He needs to show up late to another meeting so we can see this front three. You gotta show up late.
Danny, answer me this. Like, what? I don't know what your opinion is on this, but why is it Ten Hag can tinker with the midfield, but he never tinkers with the attack too? Like, I feel like
you don't tinker with the midfield. What do you mean?
No. I'm saying with the midfield, he's happy to play. Like last season, especially, he was happy to play Eriksen in certain positions. Happy to play Bruno.
The only time he tinkered with the midfield was when he got injuries. That's what people miss. Even the City game, players were coming back from injury, so he went with that lineup for that game. When he had his players fit, you knew what the 11 was.
So you're telling me Anthony will never be touched?
Once he got workhorse, and because Sancho was coming back effectively in his pre-season while we were going into January, February, it was his pre-season in reality.
Yeah.
You saw what his lineup was. Rashford, Weghorst, Anthony. Anthony had some injury problems, some variation. You get Bruno right wing, Weghorst and Fred in midfield, and Eriksen was injured. All of these variations you saw. People like to come up with reasons as to why they saw them. You can't show me any of these variations when everybody is fit. You can't show me 3 football matches where he moved Bruno here or moved this guy there where everybody was fit and healthy. You can't show me that for 3 matches. It didn't happen.
The Bruno right wing thing is just... I'm sorry, I've tried to look at it.
In general, even with Eriksen, when Eriksen was fit, Eriksen mostly played. There was a period where Fred had a purple patch. We were going into the cup final, and let's be real, everybody knew Fred should start that game. Fred did not start that game. And the thing is, we wanted Fred to start, but we knew he wasn't going to. We knew he wasn't going to.
I got an agenda to run, man.
Yeah, I knew it. Go ahead.
Well, since you're speaking about Fred, I did mention it the other day on Zoa Radio. If the window ends here and there's no more business, selling Fred was the biggest mistake. Biggest mistake. That's what I'm running with. If we do no more business...
See, the caveat of no more business, selling Fred was the right decision. Yeah? What needs to happen...
Not if you don't replace him.
What needs to happen with 6 days to go until the window closes, like usual, is the owner to stop his nonsense about you must do this and do that first and just rise the bread for another midfielder.
That's when you're right. That's when you're right. But if it's done, big mistake.
Nah, they have to rise the bread. Like, the people understand.
You can't even fathom
No.
it.
I'll tell you why I can't. I'll tell you why I can't fathom it.
How much did we sell Fred for?
No, but hold on.
How much did we sell him for?
I think
13 million euros.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Peanuts, because he's not worth nothing. Anyway, the point is this, yeah? I don't see any reason why. Do you know how much a £25 million transfer actually costs? Yeah? Number one, they spread the fee over the course of the contract. So it's worth 5 million on a 5. No, let's do a 4-year deal. Yeah, it's 5 million a year, or 7 million a year, whatever, in that ballpark, right? Roughly, yes. No, let's say 7 over a 5-year deal, 35 mil. It's not even 35 million, but let's say it is 7 years. The first installment on a 35 million pound deal is like 8 million pounds. You're telling me they can't find 8 million pounds in cash for a transfer that's going to cost them on the books 7 million a year over 5 years. Man United, big boy Man United can't do this.
I'm disappointed in the Amrabat thing. That's not happened. I don't see how that's
but you know what?
possible.
Listen, they say death comes in threes. We lost to Tottenham, Mount's injury. What was the other one? The Greenwood scandal, which I haven't got to. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that last before the stream ends, actually. So yeah, I think they'll rise the bread. If they don't, yeah, these owners, there's something else altogether. I'll be honest with you. You should never be shocked by the Glazers.
Trying to relegate the club before they leave.
You can't be shocked by anything the Glazers do, but you can't raise bread for Amrabat. And by the way, we should what's it? We've spent 182. We've raised some money from sales, not a lot, but we've raised some. Sold Elanga, sold Fred. You can't find 8 million for an installment on a 35 million pound midfielder. That's cap. But yeah, listen, I'll be honest with you. In terms of the lineup, though, just real quick, I think Garnacho needs to be dropped.
Agree. Boy needs to keep coming off the bench for the next season or two, man. I'm telling you.
Man, I don't even know what
that kind of sorts itself out.
Real quick, what do we think he's gonna do? So I think he's
going to be dropped because Rashford's going to play from the left. I think so. It's not. So it's kind of in a way where it's okay. Rashford's back in his position now, so it's not really dropped, but we're dropped at the same time.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. This is not what I want to see, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just gonna keep it real, like 'cause the manager. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Oh, we don't even have his picture. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw the same lineup. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. Yeah, always better to temper certain expectations in it. It would not surprise me if we saw this lineup again.
It just doesn't work, man. It just does not work. It
Wouldn't surprise me.
Anthony is stinking, man. I'm not gonna lie. Anthony is smelling out here, man.
And you know what? It just didn't work. Like there was nothing happening at the front. Nothing happening. Nothing. No chance. No. There was no. All the chances that they were getting, I didn't see a single moment where I thought, "Oh, that was close. Oh, that was so close." Like, oh, if he had just taken that touch a little bit quicker, that would have been. No, I didn't see any of that. It was all just off. It was off.
Do you know what I'm wondering, though? Do you know what I'm wondering? What does Anthony look like? Full of confidence. So if he scores like 3 games in a row or something, or plays good 3 games.
You see the one you saw at Ajax.
What does that look like?
In his not his last season, but the season before that. You see that Anthony. That's the Anthony you're gonna see. When if he gets confident, if he's on this spin, he can play. He can play when he's on it.
More, man.
You know what? I forgot. What happened to the false 19?
Sancho.
I think it was a myth.
Pre-season.
It was a myth that he's going to do it in the league, bro. He's never going to do that in the league. No chance.
Listen, I'll defend Ten Hag on some things. There's other things where I'm just like, why were you doing it in pre-season if you're not even going to?
I'll respect his balls if he tries it in the Premier League, bro. An open pause in it, but I respect.
I'll be honest, Sancho actually coming in to help the midfield and retain the ball, I think would work. We've got a super chat here from Ziad Jacobs. Only way Sancho starts is my guy Anthony goes jail.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh God.
Cool.
Big up Ziad.
Appreciate the super chat. But the way it's looking, speaking of jail, Arnold out.
Speaking of jail,
Arnold out. I'm going to be quick on this, yeah. Anyone who thinks, does anyone here believe that Woodward did the Super League thing by himself, or the owners were behind it?
The owners were definitely in on that, 100%.
Does anybody here believe a public listed company who's in the middle of exploring strategic alternatives left the CEO by himself to handle an investigation into Mason Greenwood? That's the question. It's not rhetorical. Does anyone believe that?
I see. It's tricky, isn't it? Because you know, on the surface of it, when you look at it, it looks like they'd had a conversation with him that looked one way to him, to the player, and
I'm
then
talking about the player. I'm saying, do people think that Joe Glazer and Avram Glazer were not involved at all?
No, they
there's
were
no
involved.
chance. Of
Have
course
to
they're
be
involved.
involved.
Of course they're involved. Big
They
time.
have to be involved. I
They
mean,
have to be involved.
let's
Not possible.
let's keep it 100. Yeah, actually, let's keep it a fucking thousand. Like, let's put it out there. If you've got a brand, yeah, that you want to protect and that you love, that you've inherited and everything else, yeah, and us as fans, we would do everything to protect the image the best we could, given the situation. The Glazers are the complete opposite. They don't care about any of that other than making bread, assets.
Make that money.
So of
That's
course, when you take into consideration the simple fact that our owners think a type of way and have a certain mindset and don't give a shit the same way we give a shit, even about morals, even about certain image rights within the club and stuff and how it looks, because they're shameless, which they are, then why would they come to a moral conclusion and go, you know what, this looks bad for the club and everything else?
But hold
It
on.
makes zero sense. It wouldn't happen.
No, this is what makes less sense to me, though. Since when is this a moral decision? It's not.
See, I don't
It's
think
never
it
been.
is.
It's never been.
And this is how this is where I put out a tweet that triggered people the other day, yeah, and I'm going to explain it on camera. So, City were put under pressure, right, to withdraw Mendy's pay before he had his day in court.
Yeah.
Right. People, as far as I'm concerned, this investigation before they were, it's got messy because people started leaking. So now you're happy with leaking at Man United because it meets your outcome. Yeah, that's why you need to have principles and stick to them. What this is telling me is whenever a football player finds himself in this situation, you need to throw the player under the bus under any circumstance. And that's wrong. That's why I put out that tweet. So when I see nobody coming after City CEO, even though they made Mendy look more guilty when they withdrew his pay. I remember the headlines on Sky Sports. He looked more guilty. They buckled to the pressure. Judge him now, withhold his pay. Why is he being paid while he's got this court case? With Mason Greenwood, sacked the CEO because he may have. You'll never know now because you leaked it, right? It's like when somebody hacks documents from someone. As soon as you hack the document, you can't have it in court. You've tainted it.
Yeah.
We'll never know if that was actually what it's supposed to be because you've hacked it. We didn't obtain it in the correct way. That investigation should have included internally with nobody interfering as far as I'm concerned. But now I'm seeing get the CEO out of here. So basically, every
I've
time
not
a player
seen that.
finds
I've not seen
himself
that at all, actually.
No, I've seen that. People are saying Arnold out. And this is my thing. Cool. Just like Woodward, he falls on his sword for the Glazers. Then what? It's the problem with the fan base. It's just like seeing people getting fired for the sake of them getting fired.
But why are people saying Arnold out for what? Because
because it's been handled poorly. No, it got leaked because people wanted to affect the outcome because they didn't trust the decision he was going to make. It's common sense what happened.
That's exactly right.
That's all that happened. All I'm saying is if you sack him, you've still got the owners. You still got them. And guess what? The next hire will be someone that's there to deliver, what's most important for Man U PLC. You forget your football club is owned by Man U PLC. And Man U PLC is set up to produce cash dividends for the owners. That's the main objective of the football club. Yo, Neji, that face, I can't.
Yeah, that Neji face was crazy.
No, I can't. I was about to remove him as well. Oh, no, he froze. I need to remove him.
This was not better.
Is he frozen?
Yeah, I can't do him like that still. I can't really do him like that. I can't really do him like that.
He looked like a cartoon, man. He looked like a cartoon version of Neji.
But yeah, just to clarify my tweet, I just think it's wrong because what people are saying, and I saw people even acting like, yo, Mendy's low-key guilty. It's hard to try these. I saw all of that. So basically, when the guy gets that accusation, it sticks. And the football club has to throw them under the bus every single time. And people want that because society has failed when it comes to dealing with this issue. Football can't fight the battlegrounds of society, man. They just can't. They can't even do it properly with racism. With racism in the stands, they could solve it easily. Just ban people. Stop the games. They don't want to. They don't actually, but they'll run a campaign on TV to try and make me feel better emotionally. I don't need emotions. I need actions. Stop the game, or kick people out the stadium. Make sure the stadium's empty the next game. Done. I don't need campaigns. I don't need armbands. I don't need like branding and phrases. Kick it. I don't need all of that. Same thing with like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna wrap up soon. Anybody else want to speak on the Greenwood thing? You can before we go. Then we're gonna end it.
I think I just from on my side, I think the club did what they had to do on the situation. I think there was an element of maybe disappointment on his part, because I feel like it looked like he felt there was a chance that he could have a positive outcome at the club, and then obviously he's not. But at the same time, the club have to make a decision based on what they think is best for the club. And I think we can all agree that a decision had to be made. You can't just keep talking about it. Yeah, there has to be a final decision made. So the decision was made.
You man, like, and by the way, people want Arnold out so they can get Murta out. That's what I find funny. Shout out to the people who haven't hidden that. I won't name no names, but you're not supposed to do that, by the way. You're supposed to hide the Murta part. Otherwise the agenda don't work. Do you want to see Arnold fired? Do you think he's handled it badly and should be sacked, Elzo?
Hell no. No. I never understood it. What? Because no, I never understood it. As long as I think the end result is what counts, I'm happy with this, man. I'm happy with this. I'm cool with this. Yeah, suits me.
Meiji, do you think he should be fired?
Don't think he should be fired, but don't mean I don't want him gone as well at the same time. I mean, I look at the guy and just think, with the great, and again, I can only go off reports, so my opinion could change if more actual factual reports come to light. But for me personally, the fact that they were already looking at keeping this guy anyway at all, and he didn't even advise the situation to go, you know what, there could be backlash from this or He just, again, he's got a job, he's getting paid, don't get me wrong, but this is just where me as a personality is different. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about my fucking job.
Agree, Neji.
So
I agree.
What I'm saying,
if we can get someone better,
sorry,
then yeah,
stand
cool.
up, bro. I'm just stand up.
Sorry, bro. I'm saying if we can get something better, then yeah, cool. But I'm saying off the back of what's been going on recently, should he get fired? No, I don't.
Oh no, but I'm saying and again, I don't think he should be fired. I want him gone anyway, either way. And I think this furthers my point in terms of we've got certain mentalities within the club that are hired by Glazers that, to me, a weak little pum. So I'll be very, very honest.
You know what I like?
I don't rate.
I don't rate what I respect. Hold on, let me say this. I need to interrupt you to say this. This is why I've created no agendas. You see what you just did there? I want him gone same way. What I don't rate is people trying to use some morals, try to use this Greenwood situation to get Arnold out of there, when really you just want him gone anyway.
Yeah, 100. Like I just said, I don't think he should be fired.
Say that. Just say you want him gone same way. So this is a good opportunity to get him out. Let's run the campaign and just say that same way. To act as if a CEO, by the way, what he said in his longest statement is 100% facts. I've seen it recently where I work, where this is an employment law issue. It's not a moral one. For Man U PLC, it's not a moral decision. Yeah, it's a legal one. That is what it is. And then once they've come to their legal conclusions of what they can do, they will look at the PR, not the moral, the PR. If we keep him, how's the PR? If we don't keep him, how's the PR? Nothing to do with morals. It's not even nothing to do with it whatsoever, because there's no case to answer. And by the way, we don't know what they found when they did their investigation.
Never will know.
We don't know what they found. So legally, and that's why his contract's not terminated, and they have to work with him on a mutual termination. Clearly, they haven't found anything, so they can even fire him, Neji. Just what I'm saying to you.
No, 100. Like I just said to you.
Just keep it a buck. You want him gone because you want him gone. Fine.
I got no issue with that. I personally don't want the guy there, but like I said, I've just said I don't think he should be fired over this. But what it did highlight to me again, this is based off reports only, so again, opinion can change depending if there's more there, is that the guy's weak. And yes, he's got a job, and this is where, again, I'm just probably one of many different people, but from a moral consensus, If I don't believe in something, and the club says, "Oh, I pay your wages, so you're gonna go say that," I'm saying, brethren, take whatever report you need to and go tell them yourself.
But
Like
this
I
is
ain't
the
no
thing, though.
messenger. And
I
so
hear you, but you see those
no,
people.
but I'm only let me just land up, Danny.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying to you is that's me. So no one can challenge my preference on things because that's how I would handle the thing. If I was in his situation, I'm saying, listen, me personally, I'm not going out there saying we've done X, Y, Z, and then still getting rid of the guy because it makes no sense. The fact that you don't believe is accurate. Do you know what I mean? I don't believe he's done a certain thing, but at the same time, you're getting rid of him. I'm not trying to hold weight for your pom-poms. I'm not holding weight for no pom-pom above me. Standard procedure.
But
Go do it yourself. So to land and finish,
Mm.
all I'm saying is I don't believe this is an opportunity to get him fired. I don't want him fired over this. He's only because I can see that he's been told to do what he's meant to do, what he's getting paid to do. And he's been put in the limelight, and it shouldn't have been on him. In my opinion, I don't believe it should have been on him. Should have been from the club and higher to go, this is how we're moving with it. So I'm not going to hold Arnold to go and get battered and bashed because of this. I want him out for other reasons, and I'm not going to use the situation to force my own opinion.
What did I miss?
Neji,
What I
you
miss?
don't know yet. There's a pause pandemic in it. So
Go on.
Yeah, there's a pause pandemic. So you're talking about man getting battered and battered.
Wow. What? Yo. In a bit, Sam Sunshine 47, yeah? Big up yourself. Adios, I'm gone. Later vibes. Out of here, mate.
Oh, God. Yo. You know what? Yeah, I can't even speak after that.
Hey, we got to clip that one up, you know, Daddy.
Yeah, I'm clipping it up now still.
It's gonna clip that.
Shout out to everybody for watching.
Yeah, shut up, man.
Big up everybody for watching. Yeah, smash the like button.
Hey, Daddy, I saw in your face you was dying to say.
After live, smash the like button, share it, get involved in the comments, notification bell, all of that. Make sure you follow everybody on Twitter. You see mine, you see Zoe's, you see Bryant's, you see Uncle Jimmy's there. Yeah, on that note,
everyone, before you leave, make sure you hit the like, please, man. Just before you leave out, man. Thank you.
Yeah, smash the like button, man. It's the number of people watching and the number of likes is not correlating. Just smash the like. It's easy.
Yo, sorry I'm late, people. What have I missed, man? What have I missed? Man?
Yeah.
You
know what? I did want to unpack that seriously, man, but I can't. I just don't even know how to. All I would say is this year, people that operate at that level, yeah, that's where listen. That's why they say you low-key sell your soul to operate at that level and get those six figures.
It's a different level of pressure.
It's a different level of, because you see what you put forward, Neji, in that situation, in reality, the moment they've told him, you have to conduct an investigation and present all of the scenarios to the board, which, by the way, is what's happened. Yeah? Lay out a plan A, plan B, plan C, what it would look like if we do plan A, plan B, plan C, pending your investigation and your findings. The moment he's like, yo, bro, this is where you get personal. Yo, I saw those pictures. I made my mind up personally. I'm not doing this plan A. He has to quit.
That's it.
He has to quit. But people that operate at that level, this is just...
He's not trying to quit, man. He's a pom-pom, bro. Standard.
Yeah. There you go. People that operate at that level...
pom-pom as well. Sweaty, nasty, unclean. One of them.
And that's of course... Appreciate everybody watching.
Appreciate
Sunshine there.
Leave it. Come on, man.
Nah, big up, man. Bless.
We'll catch you next week, people, man.
Yeah, we'll catch you next week.
Catch you next week, man. Big up.
Yeah.
Bless, bro.